Clap. All right. Well, welcome back to Lead with Purpose West Virginia and all of those that are joining us, not from West Virginia. We greatly appreciate you joining into this series. And this week, it's Service That Shines, and it's Veterans Day. And I know that so many people have already done some things for their veterans for Veterans Day. I know we had our celebration on Saturday, and it was absolutely beautiful. And when we look at the VA&R, and at first when people were saying VA&R, when I first came into this organization, I'm like, oh Lord, what are all these letters? Why are they always saying this and saying that? What are they? It wasn't until I started digging in and doing research and being the inquisitive person that I am and wanting to know this or that, that I found out what it really was. And to me, this caption here is because service to veterans is the heart of who we are. Because without the veterans, we wouldn't have our organization and we wouldn't be able to serve. So they are the heart of that. And that's why this says service that shines. And of course, you all know that I like the stars. I mean, there's stars, everything. So that's why that it says service with shines. Let me get I don't know why this is not moving. Okay, there it is. So I'm just going to do a quick recap from Strong Starts from last week. Strong Starts begin with clarity. Smart goals matter. Planning prevents burnout. And you want to tie everything back to our mission. And Strong Starts builds unity. Would anybody like to share one thing that they took from Strong Starts last week?
Inclusion.
Inclusion, that's a good one. That's an excellent one.
Every member, which is inclusion.
Yep.
Okay. So starting strong means planning with purpose, aligning your team, and setting clear, actionable goals that connect back to our mission, service, not self. And, you know, we're always going to connect back to that. It's like going to be a continual, I'm always going to talk back to the mission in everything we do in leadership. I'm having a technical moment here. It's coming back, sorry. Okay, there we go. All right, so can you see the goals? Everybody, are you still there?
Yeah, I can see them, but I can't look at them.
Okay, I don't want you to look at them, but I just wanted to make sure that they're on the screen.
Yeah, I can glance and I can see them.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so the goals for today are we actually are going to look at some VA&R event planning and safety, working with VAMCs, veterans homes and care facilities, just talking about what we are doing, how we can collaborate, what we can make happen, but being able to involve your members and your youth in service. The youth are our future. And the more youth that we get, regardless of their age, they are going to eventually age up into senior members. And those young whippersnapper senior members are going to be what are carrying forth programs and services for our veterans, the military, and their families and our communities. So when we serve veterans,
Oh, girl.
we don't just honor their past, but we invest in their future. And you know, we have a couple of them in this photo that aren't with us anymore. But during the time that they were here, we were still investing in their future, whatever it was, whatever it may be. Whatever their future looked like, we are investing in it each and every time that we touch them. So we all have that one veteran who's left a mark on our heart. Maybe it was a thank you that you never forgot, or maybe just a quiet moment of connection. I want you to take a moment and think about that veteran, that very veteran that touched your heart, the one whose face or their story that still inspires you today. Now I want to hear about those veterans, the ones who remind us why we serve. Tell me about them.
There in Point Pleasant, there was a gentleman named Bill Proctor. I don't know if you had the pleasure of meeting him, Rebecca.
I
He
did.
was there during the day mostly, and that was when I was trying to get the girls out. And so we would go in and we would play pool. And he would, with his walker, struggle back to the pool table and play pool with us. And when it was his birthday, he told us that his favorite cake was pineapple upside down cake. So, of course, never having made one, Teresa Warner and I got together at my house, and Brian was there. He said it sounded like Lucy and Ethel bake a cake. And we actually made two cakes. So we took it to the post, and he took one home with him, and we shared the other one. And he was just, he always had something to share. He was a truck driver, and then he went to work at a company that serviced trucks. And of course, he was being a supervisor. He had a lot of stories to share, but I think we made his life there towards the end a little bit happier, and he really touched us.
Thank you for sharing that, Jane. That's a beautiful story.
For me, Rebecca, obviously there's a lot of those veterans in that picture I can't even look at it. That was a year ago, about a year ago, wasn't it? My homecoming.
Yes, it was homecoming.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of pictures, a lot of veterans in that picture that, is why I do what I do today. But I started to honor my grandfather, who's a Korean War veteran. And unfortunately, before he passed, I wasn't very active because I wasn't living here, and I was a member. I just wasn't active. And so I feel like I'm now making up for lost ground and didn't honor him in that capacity while he was alive. So I feel like, to continue his legacy, this is the best way I can honor him by doing what I'm doing now with the auxiliary and the Legion family.
Okay, nice.
The first veteran that I thought of was my uncle, who unfortunately was killed in action in World War II. I never met the man, but I often wonder what his future would have been like if he would have come home. And we try to honor him every year we have a flag with the Lions Club that we work with, and we have a flag that we display every year with his name on it. And that's what I do specific for him. But he's one of the reasons why I've gotten involved with the Legion.
Okay, Laura and Bernice, those are both beautiful stories as well. I have many veterans that come to mind, but most recently, in my Legion journey, it was the veterans that took me under their wing when I'm supposed to be taking them under my wing and caring for them. But Miles Epling and Frank Cooley wanted to make sure that I carried on, like, to, they wanted to help me. They helped educate me. They helped tell me the ways. They helped say things that I could do to make our unit stronger, to make our department leadership stronger. There was just so many things, and they don't realize how much they touched my life. I know they knew they were loved by me because they had a smile on their face every time I saw them. I could hug them, and Miles Epling knew that I was going to take a selfie, and it did not matter where or what time of day. I captured them, and I have those memories, but they inspired me to continue to do greatness. So it's those feelings, those feel good stories. And I want to share with you, on Saturday at our parade, I had a complete aha moment after the parade, but during the parade, I walked behind our colors being carried. We had the nation's flag, and then we had both the Legion and the Legion Auxiliary flags being carried. And behind that were myself and a couple other of our members and our youth members who were giving out candy. I watched as veterans saluted our flag, and I watched a gentleman he was in a suit. He saluted the flag, and he remained that way, but I could tell that he was like just quivering a bit. So I got to run over and give him a hug, and I said, "Thank you for your service." And he whispered in my ear, "It was my honor to serve you." And I know a lot of veterans say it's their honor, and they were proud to do that. This man had tears in his eyes, and just the fact of carrying the colors, or just the pure existence and being there, he was overwhelmed. It was great. It was a great feeling. But at the end of it all, I thought, it's a Veterans Day parade. And I'm hopefully inspiring all of you to have this concept as well. And I'm not sure where it is or how they are in other areas, but in our area, I want to see change, and I want to see a true Veterans Day parade, as in veterans in vehicles, lines and lines of our local veterans. They are the parade, and us lining the streets, giving thanks to them. So it was just one of those moments. I always come up with these crazy ideas here and there, but I just felt like that was something that I needed to share. So now, oh, I went the wrong way again. All right, sorry. Technical, I'm working off the laptop today. Now I'm going to ask you this. I want you to step in that veteran's shoes for a moment and imagine how they saw you in those very moments of the stories that you told us. What might they say about how your service made them feel? So if a veteran told their story through your service, what would they say, or what would it say about you?
Well,
That's a harder question.
Yes.
Well, thinking about Bill, the one that I told the story about, I know he felt very loved. And never having met her when we went to his memorial service, his daughter knew who we were. She might not have known our names, but she said, "You girls are from Point Pleasant, aren't you?" And I'm not even sure he was a member of our post. He might have been a member over in Gallipolis, but he was always there, and he always came to see us, So I think he felt loved.
Okay.
Not sure if that's what you were talking about, but that's my
No, I
feeling.
just wanted to know, like, this is it's just questioning if if the veteran told the story, what would they say? And yes, to feel loved, that's ultimate.
They just want to be seen. And I think when we do this, you know, they're being seen and they're not being forgotten. And I think especially, you know, we talk about the Vietnam veterans a lot, that, you know, they were forgotten. They weren't welcomed home. They weren't given the reverence that we give everybody now. And so I always think about that too. Like,
Absolutely.
I just wonder if, you know, so.
Absolutely. I see you, veteran. I see you. Thank
Yeah.
you. I love you. Thank you.
Actually, on this picture, on the bottom right, that gentleman, I was talking to him and several others and thanking them for their service at the dinner. And I looked at his cap and saw he was a Vietnam veteran. And I said, you guys weren't very well appreciated when you came home back then, were you? And he started telling me some of the stories, you know, about when he was in uniform and being spit on, you know, and that kind of thing, you know, and I said, that was just so wrong. I said, we don't feel that way. And everyone didn't feel that way back then. So we had a good conversation about it. So that was a good point, Laura.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah. Very. Bernice, do you want to share?
The only thing that I can think of is I hope that I think he was probably very proud of his service and of his country. And I'm hoping that he thinks that he would be proud of the involvement that we have in the community and that we do remember him. And we will forever. That's all I got.
Well, that's wonderful. And it's to never forget. And, you know, for me, I had the fortunate, I get the fortunate memories of knowing that Miles was talking about me and telling people what I was doing, not just for him, but for our organization. And that's not to be like vain and toot the horns or anything, but it was the fact that he was proud. He was proud of our family. He was proud of the work that his legacy is going to be carried forth. And his legacy is huge and there's a lot left. But it was, you know, he was telling those moments in pride and happiness and joy that the work of the American Legion family will continue. And he felt strong in knowing that there were leaders in place that will make that happen. It choked
Absolutely.
up about him. So why would I start this leadership series on VA&R with such a powerful activity or remembrance?
Is there the reason we do what we're doing?
Exactly. And this, you know, I'm going to give you a list of things here in just a minute or two. But this here is touching. These are the things that give us the fuel to do more or to even engage and do. And that's part of leadership. So I'm going to ask you to take this with you to your into your units. We could actually do this on the department level, but this is what I call a veteran story card prompt. Ask those in your unit to write down their veteran's name, talk about how they met them, and write the moment that they'll never forget and how I'd hope they describe my service. Because this is how I went backwards and said, these are the things that we're going to accomplish, and this is how we're going to accomplish them. And it was because of the veterans and their reactions to the things that we're doing. So this is a tool for you that I wrote down that I thought maybe would help you all as well. And it's, you know, get in touch with that feeling and that energy of, oh, wow, I've made a difference. I'm going to continue to make a difference. So on VA&R, when I put two and two, so a check mark is it's hands-on service. It's meeting needs where they are. And when I say meeting needs where they are, that's where are the veterans? Meet them where they are. Meet the need. And we talked about how you can do a community assessment and strong starts. You want to do that same assessment, talking with the VAMCs, the care facilities, even within your communities, but meet them where they are. And VA&R, it's compassion in action. And it could be cards, calls, and care packages, and it can be hands-on service, like action is that service. What it's not.
Hey, Rebecca.
Yes.
Rebecca, I was going to say something about the VAMC.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry, this might not be the time, but it made me think of it. One of the things that we have a lot of times members will say, well, I can't get out. I'm not that mobile, or the weather is preventing me. The VAMCs are looking for people to make phone calls to remind people about their like upcoming appointments. And some of the VAMCs are allowing people to do that from home.
That's awesome.
So just kind of FYI, there's, not all of them, so you'd have to check, but I know that has been brought up. So I just wanted to make sure people were aware that is possible, a possibility.
Oh, absolutely. And that was a perfect time to bring that up, because that's our collaboration. And we're going to talk about that, collaborating and finding out who's doing what and how can we assist. Perfect example, Laura. It's not limited to hospitals. It includes nursing homes, assisted livings, and homebound veterans. It's not a one-time project. It's a year-round commitment. And that here we are back to, the whole leadership. Leadership isn't about doing it all yourself. It's about inspiring others to serve. And I talked about that last week. And, yes, I inspired these two ladies in this picture to do this membership skit.
my favorite, by the way.
And
Bill Combs will never get over that.
No,
he'll never forget it. That's the great thing.
Oh no.
He'll never forget it. And even when we did that skit again at the district meeting and Miles was there, even though Miles was shaking his head, he said that was a good job. And it was a little
goofy.
it was, but they laughed and they enjoyed it, and it was part of that. So again, though, it's getting others to serve, and getting others to see that with you. And they jumped right in and made it happen. And I was very appreciative of that. So I want you to think about, and we're going to go through a couple of slides. And I failed to mention at the beginning that your next about 6 of these are only going to be a half hour to 40 minutes because they are specific to the programming, but it's a leadership piece tied with that. And so it won't be that full hour. And then towards the end, especially when we're going to be doing the leadership moving forward and also the reporting and things like that, those will be the hour long. So I want you to create one new project this year that touches a veteran directly. You've got to track your impact, and that's your hours, how many people you've served, your partnerships that are formed, and partnerships are huge. We talked about those. And you have to share your stories. Public relations connects your work to your mission. And the more you're seen, the more people know about what you're doing, and the more people want to be a part of it. So you have to collaborate. These are ways that you can collaborate. You want to partner with your local nursing homes, sponsor room decorations for the holidays. They love when you bring things in, like you can bring in Christmas decorations. That's the one that most people think about. But what about just winter, like some snowflakes or, some snowmen, something that, warm and happy. Valentine's, bring the hearts in, make it happy, make it a happy place. And they all have the bulletin boards that they use to decorate. So just think about creating a warm environment. Host a Veterans Appreciation Luncheon at the Post. It doesn't even have to be Veterans Day. just create a day and say, we're just appreciating veterans today. Let's just have a meal. Everybody can come together for a meal. And the more people that come together for a meal, the more needs you're going to find or be able to assess. It's again, getting those people out, or people saying, so-and-so is a shut-in. Well, then we didn't have that person on our list. So let's add that person and then bring them. I hope you're seeing where I'm going with this. Coordinate maybe a craft therapy or an art workshop for veterans. Just something, you can create that. You can make that happen. And it falls along with the whole creative arts festival movement, and be able to tap into those. We have an artist, a beautiful artist within our unit, and that's something that she could spearhead and say, Jane, and say, bring in, let's bring the veterans in and have them paint a flag, or maybe you want to paint a poppy, or maybe you just want to paint a house, maybe you want to paint a mountainscape, something that's relieving and refreshing for them. You want to create create story archives for the Veterans History Project, and that's at the Library of Congress. Look that up. They are fun. Our Point Pleasant Live high school students did a piece for our veterans, several of our veterans in our post, and they released it yesterday. And it was so cool to see our high school students in our community come out and do this live project. And it was definitely humbling, and I'll make sure that we share that. I think I've shared it to our Facebook page, but I'll share that again so you can see it. They did a wonderful job. You want to adopt a homeless veteran program. And what I mean by that, there are so many organizations that have homeless veteran programs. You want to adopt that program, as in you're going to call that program and say, what are the basic needs that you need? What, can we come and do a job interview skills workshop? Can we bring in maybe some IT, like talk about how you can just set up a regular email or get online, anything, any way that we can help the homeless veteran program and or other programs. That was just one example. It's what are they doing and how can we help them? That's the collaboration. There are, many things that I know that all units have done, and this, I'm going to just give you a smidget of what I was able to do. Well, what we were able to do, but what I was able to get accomplished within our unit. I used past national president Trish Ward's, the challenge cards that came out. Those challenge cards were a great resource, and it had things listed that you could do in each one of the programs. If you don't have a set of them, I'm not sure how you can still get a set of them, but I have a set, and I'll be glad to, borrow mine if you'll send them back. But from those, I was able to pull some ideas together, and then we were brainstorming as a leadership team and within our unit. We did all of these things, and they were fun and they were memorable. We did the stockings for the veterans, and we used the partnership that we had with the Point Pleasant River Museum to be able to do the service project with the Cookies with Santa. The stockings were stuffed by the community and by other youth that were helping us. I was able to put that field of flags display in a national park. Toowoomba Park is a national park, and I partnered with them to be able to make that happen. And I say I mean we. The partnership with the Mason County Schools, they were able to help us assemble the veterans thank you bags. The visits to local veterans homes, you can go to them. Our local veterans home are within an hour from us. I know that some other units have some that are very close that you can just drive to, and you can maybe volunteer 2 or 3 times a week, or maybe 4 times a week. But you can still collectively get together snacks, toiletries, things that those veterans homes or the nursing homes, the assisted living, anywhere that there are veterans, you can contact these places and say, what are your needs? You can collect those needs and send them, that you're still helping. You can go, maybe you just want to go read to a veteran. Maybe, you just find out the need. There are so many that do not have family. They do not have people coming to visit them. So you just want to partner with these organizations. They love our help. We just have to reach out and say, hey, here we are. We have able bodies. Let's do this. We want to put this back into our communities. Whoops. Oh. Sorry, y'all. I was trying to get there. So up next is our Anchored in Community. That's going to be our Americanism and National Security. And whoa. Okay, got the stockings for veterans. Sorry. All right. I meant to say on the last slide. So do y'all have any questions or comments that you'd like to add some ideas before I stop the recording so that those watching the recordings for later, they'll have some ideas.
Yeah, Rebecca, I do, and I'm almost to the post, so I'm going to have to jump off here in a minute.
Okay.
We're serving. Well, we pivoted. We had a Veterans Day ceremony at 11, and the weather was just not cooperating, so we're having lunch and everything at the post. But I will tell you, when you talk about the PR, I put out a couple things on Facebook, just created events just about this Veterans Day program, which is not sponsored by us. It's sponsored by the Parks and Recs Board, but I still put out something, shared it immediately when it was canceled. I put out a message this morning to say, this has been canceled. Please come to the post for lunch. While I was in Hobby Lobby, I got a phone call, and it was a veteran, and he saw my post and called and says, "Are you still having lunch today?" Guys, if you reach one person, that is all that matters. And brand yourself. I was in Sheets picking up the sandwiches for today's lunch, and a veteran was behind me and said, "Oh, you're with American Legion Auxiliary." I invited him down to the post. Now, if he comes, he doesn't, that's fine, but I still invited him. So please get out there and invite these people, and don't just assume that they know who we are.
Exactly.
First of all. Second, you said something about the veterans, the homeless veterans. Our homeless resource center here, and a lot of communities have them, you just have to look it up. They're having people come in during the holidays, and we're going to bring like a tray of cookies and just say, here's a tray of cookies. We don't even have to man it, because they are going to provide the coffee and the hot chocolate, but they're asking organizations to come in and bring, like I said, donuts or cookies. And there's little things that you can do that you don't even have to necessarily have the manpower if you're limited on the people. So you just got to get creative and think outside the box. And like you said, ask what their needs are. What can we do to help?
Exactly. That's an awesome idea.
I just love this series, by the way, Rebecca. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you. It was on my heart, and I want West Virginia to shine. I want the nation, the national, everybody across this country. I want all departments to be able to shine. And, this is just a little bit of just what the new kid on the block came up with, but it was because I had to do so much research to figure things out. And it's not, there's a plethora of resources. You just have to read them. You have to dig into the national website, dig into our department website, go to meetings, go to district meetings, go to I cannot wait to go to the mission training again.
And mission training, yeah.
Go to midwinter, go to fall workshop, go to the national convention. You just find so many things, and you meet so many people that you can collaborate with across the country. And it really has been refreshing. And I am so pumped and excited to be a part of this mighty, great organization.
Absolutely.
Jane,
and Janie, I think Janie should do that painting thing, and then Brandon can do it down here in Huntington, and we can just knock it out. How about that?
We could do that.
Brandon's not even on this call, and he's getting voluntold. He has no idea he's about to do it.
Something I was thinking about is 40 years ago, when I was brand new in the auxiliary and had a young son, the Gal Police post would go once a month to the veterans home there in Barbersville, and they would take cake or cupcakes or whatever, pizza, armed with their boom box with music, and we would have a birthday party once a month. and Tony always went. He was probably 9 or 10, and those guys loved him. If he wasn't there, they would say, "Where's that little boy?" They just wanted to be with him and spend time with him and tell him their stories and stuff. So that might be something that we would think about maybe doing just once a month. I do my once a month birthday parties for auxiliary members there at the post, but maybe we need to make a trip and do it
Hey,
for the veterans.
Jane, we actually do at Unit 16, we actually, for the department, actually do, in the district, do bingo the third Wednesday of every month, and we do snacks. Why couldn't we incorporate a birthday
A
party?
birthday. That's
Maybe we
awesome.
could. We could.
I'll get with you. I'll get with you after this, Jane, because I think that is
Okay.
a phenomenal idea. We're already up there once a month.
Yeah. Yeah. And whoever has a
Awesome.
birthday that month, we're going to celebrate you, and everyone else has a great time too. So,
Well, and
yeah.
I think it's important that we work together as units, because we had another unit that myself, or not myself, but my unit and another unit got together. It was fantastic. And we did trick or treating together, and people in the community saw these two, same organization, but two entities come together and work together. And I think people need
Yeah.
to see that. They need to see
Yeah.
that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And include your riders, include your sons. I
Yep.
think that even for us, like Jane, you probably will echo this, but our sons and riders have really come together, and we are really doing some great things. And it's an open collaboration, and we just include them. And we got 2 new sons members on Saturday, 2 new youth. So that was
That's
awesome.
awesome. That's awesome.
Bernice, did you want to add anything?
No.
Okay. All right. So I hope that you all are
Because them
enjoying.
other ladies talk too much. I didn't have time.
That's all right. Well, I do hope that you all are getting some greatness out of this. I know that, we're going to continue. We're 3 in. I cannot believe we're like the 3rd one's done. But next week, again, we're going to be doing the Americanism and national security, and looking forward to sharing some leadership skills with those programs. And again, some of the things that we're doing in our community. But I do appreciate each and every one of you. If you're listening to this on the recording, we appreciate you. And if you want to send me by email any of your ideas and comments, I'll be able to share those with the entire cohort. And I'll see you all next week.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See ya.
No, it got canceled. We always have it after the thing anyways. Sorry guys. Bye. I was on a Zoom call.
Okay. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank